This morning's guest is known for making a quick decision. We're glad you made the decision to watch him. Stay tuned. All American People is coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to All American People. This morning we're at North Myrtle Beach City Hall. We're focused on the city and we're visiting with the city manager, Mike Mahaney. Good morning, Mike.
It's a pleasure. Welcome to North Myrtle.
For getting in. Of course, to kick off the week here in City Hall is tremendous.
Welcome.
We're going to have John Bullard with us tomorrow morning and the Honorable Marilyn Hatley with us on Wednesday morning. Actually, on Thursday, you're the Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Mark Jordan's coming over to, I assume he visits City Hall on a pretty regular basis?
Oh, yes. I'm in contact with John every day.
Great. Good. And then we've got Tom O'Dare, the editor over the North Myrtle Beach Times, and Hilda Carter, one of their columnists and a photojournalist, coming in to wrap up the week here.
Sounds like you have a great lineup for this
week. That we do. Very excited. We're about 6 weeks away from the wrap up of your first year here.
Yes, time flies, and yeah, the 1st of July, I'll have been here 1 year.
How good feel? You feeling good?
Oh yes. You know, North Myrtle Beach is a great place. I've been welcomed with open arms. The Southern hospitality, and it's just really a great place.
That's tremendous, Mike. How about yourself? Are you originally from the area?
No, I was actually born in the Roanoke area,
okay.
Roanoke, Virginia. You know, got an engineering degree at Virginia Tech and did master's work at a variety of places. Finished it in Virginia, got a master's in business administration. But I have very, very fond memories of North Myrtle Beach because as a child, we vacationed every summer for many years in Cherry Grove.
Oh, great.
And for many years at Springmaid, actually down south of us.
Sure.
I was always fascinated when the jets took off from the Air Force Base to watch the glasses on the table vibrate. I was very young, and I was fascinated by that.
That's something you'd never forget. That is wonderful.
Very few people know that.
Good. Well, glad we're getting it out on a Monday morning. Glad we're getting it out on a Monday morning. The excitement, of course, to think about tremendous explosion here in North Myrtle Beach. Obviously, the merging of the communities together to become North Myrtle Beach. When you said growing up, coming down to Cherry Grove, that it was not
right. No, they were very separate and distinct in those days.
Right. Had you thought about North Myrtle Beach during the many years away from the area? Had you thought maybe this is a place I want to be?
Well, no, but what I found over time is I'm much happier when I'm on the ocean. You know, I'm much happier in the South than I was working up north, where we got 260 inches of snow a year.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm very happy here.
Growing up, had you thought public administration's the place for me, or going into, I think you mentioned earlier this morning, possibly engineering?
Well, yes. You know, engineering is very complicated, and it was a great experience to be a city manager. I worked for Stone & Webster Engineering Corporation out of Boston, and this was back when nuclear was big, and did a lot of design work. You know, if you're building a nuclear power plant on a river somewhere, you've got to create a man-made lake. Roads have got to be relocated, water lines, sewer lines, build new bridges, etc. So it was a great experience, and you know, it was because of that engineering experience I was able to get my professional engineering license. But I like variety, and I gravitated to the city manager profession for that because there's a lot of variety in this job.
This is not your first city manager gig or first city manager position?
No, I've been a city manager for approaching 30 years now.
Son of a gun.
You know, in a variety of states. So yeah, I've been around for a while.
And of course, following in this position from a gentleman who held this, you said 30 years, it reminded me 1980 to 2010, John Smithson had been right here for 30 years. So
right.
That's,
right. My longest tenure was about 12 years.
Right.
That was in St. Mary's, Georgia. I was there when the building boom was going on as far as building Kings Bay submarine base, which of course is the East Coast home of the Trident missile subs.
Right. Right.
So the Navy base, the government was spending $1 million a day when I was there building that base.
Wow, that must have been fascinating.
It was exciting times.
Walking around City Hall this morning, obviously folks are a lot going on. Of course, the summer is coming. We're talking about Mike Mahaney. Management by walking around came out. It sounds like you're out of the office more than you're in.
Yes, I am definitely out and about. I have a very strong department head team. You know, I trust them. I'm not a micromanager. I set the broad goals and I get out of the way so they can accomplish those goals. So I'm definitely out of the office a lot. It could be on the beach, it could be at one of the local businesses, but yes.
What's a typical day like, if there is such a thing, for any city manager, particularly a city this size?
Well, everybody has their own routines. Personally, my routine is I rise at 4 a.m. every morning.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
You've been
I
up
get
4 hours already?
Yes,
Wow.
I've been up 4 hours. I get up at 4 a.m. every morning. The first thing I do is scan what's happened overnight, scan emails, scan anything I've gotten from public safety about any events. It is, you know, we are tourism related.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes they may not use the best judgment. So, you know, scan what's happened overnight. You know, usually catch the local news, scan the local newspaper, that sort of thing. And then I usually work out in the morning.
Is that right? Great, good.
Yes.
So you've already had a up, scanning everything, and had a good workout before getting over here to
That's
kick off the
correct.
week.
Right.
That's amazing. Now, getting up at 4, that means you're probably going to bed at a is it a reasonable time? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I try to get in there by 9.
Right.
If I'm not successful on that, and some nights I'm not, I try to catch up on weekends a little bit.
That's great. That's great that can work. Speaking of public safety, you all the city recently hired a new public safety director. Is that right?
Yes, yes. I recently hired Jay Fernandez. Jay had worked for me before as a chief of police.
Right.
I actually considered 3 or 4 chiefs that had worked for me in the past.
In other communities.
Correct.
Right.
And I felt that Jay would be the best fit for North Myrtle Beach as far as uniting the public safety department, police and fire, and I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, anything in particular that jumps out that during his relatively short tenure that some strides are already being made?
Well, Jay brings a lot to the table. He has a wealth of experience. Jay was a police chief for me when I can remember vividly one day where we had 3 bank robberies in one day, 3 different banks, 3 different robbers. He also was a police chief for me when we had some difficulties with gangs and a fair amount of shooting. So he brings a wealth of experience to the job on both the police and the fire side. He had, you know, a couple hundred missions as a SWAT team member.
Right.
You know, was stationed at the airport, so is familiar with the fire side.
Great.
Is a great man and has had a steadying influence over there in moving North Myrtle Beach forward.
The experience with bank robberies and gangs hopefully is not something that we're projecting that'll be happening in this area, but at the same time being ready for it is
well,
surely
the point I'm trying to make is,
right.
you know, it's baptism by fire.
Right.
I know that he can deal with you know, those sort of situations.
Sure.
I mean, hopefully we'll never have to deal with a hurricane. Hopefully we'll not have to deal with those sort of events, but
Right.
It is reality in the city manager profession.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Whether it be airplane crashes or whatever,
Oh,
which
yeah.
there's been 2 since I've been here.
And some other serious natural disasters that happened right before your arrival.
Right.
So surely being ready for that's critical. Being ready is critical. What about beach tents? I saw those 2 words recently in reading a piece about North Myrtle Beach, the ordinance and oversight of beach tents. What's the significance of beach tents here?
Well, we've had problems in the past because people would tie the tents together. There may be 6 or 7 tents tied together. Installing dance floors, stoves, etc. You know, that's critical as far as if there are problems in the water of being able to get to the water as far as public safety, our lifeguards, backup, etc. So we essentially have come up with some standard rules, you know, no more than 12 by 12, can't be tied together, can't be up, you know, real early in the morning and have to be down like at 7 at night, that sort of thing, to help us manage that situation and also to protect the sea turtles.
Okay, good.
Because, you know, we have some documented cases of tents being left up, and you know, of course, they are a protected species. And
yes, very important. What's been the reaction from residents here in North Myrtle Beach to some of the new ordinance?
Well, we spent a lot of time trying to educate. You know, during the height of season, we're dealing with well over 100,000 people a day, and that's a challenge. But we've come up with a very attractive refrigerator magnet. Hopefully, that's been installed in all 28,000 units in North Myrtle.
28,000.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. And you know, it's an education process. We're also putting up new entryway signs at all the beach walkovers, the street ends, etc. Highly publicized. A number of the rental companies have emailed it or transmitted it out when people book the units. So it's an education process.
Right, right. That's very significant. Tomorrow we're going to be visiting with John Bullard, the new, who's been on just slightly longer than you have, the new Director of Parks Recreation here for the city of North Myrtle, and a lot going into sports tourism. We see also a big piece, and we'll talk a little more, of course, with him tomorrow about that, but annexation. There's a significant amount, I believe, and a lot of that annexation had happened prior to your arrival, but some very big annexation going on right now.
Right. We're moving forward with annexing approximately 1,800 acres. That will be the second largest annexation in the history of North Myrtle Beach. The largest being Barefoot, which was 2,000 acres, to try to give you a frame of perspective.
Right.
You know, one of my top goals is to grow the economy in North Myrtle Beach, and also to develop the tourism market, particularly the shoulder seasons. We have plenty of people on July the 4th, but you know, spring and fall, what we're targeting is baseball, soccer, those sort of things that it basically puts heads on the beds, because you know, what we've experienced is when little Johnny comes to, say, a soccer tournament in North Myrtle Beach, he not only brings mom and dad and his brothers and sisters, he also brings his grandparents. And so, you know, that is a way we can grow the economy, you know, in the spring and fall, to make North Myrtle Beach a better place. And of course, the new sports facility also includes a lot of things for the local people. It'll have a 2.5 mile or so walking trail. It has a splash park, which has interactive, it's about $1 million, interactive playground equipment for children. It has a dog park. It has an amphitheater. You know, our goal is essentially 60% local usage and 40% tourism.
Tremendous.
So it has a lot of things to improve the quality of life for the citizens of North Myrtle.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mike. Let's talk about some of the other goals. You mentioned obviously the goal of growing the economy here, and of course tourism in general. What are some other goals when you came on board as city manager for the city of North?
Well, the three top goals that I have is number one, the sports facility. That's a $15 million project.
$15 million.
Yes, and you know, I want to accomplish that because I think that's key. You know, it's the perfect time to do it. You know, land costs are low because of the economy. Interest rates are low. And your construction cost, because of the downturn in the housing market, will never have a better time. I mean, this is the time for North Myrtle Beach, in my opinion, to move forward with this significant project to help expand our economy.
Sure.
So that's very important to me.
That's one of your three key goals. How about the other two goals?
Well, the sports facility is certainly key. You know, growing the economy, which is somewhat related.
Excuse me, yes.
You know, on the and customer service.
And customer
that's
service,
very important to me. That you know, we provide a high level of customer service, not only to our residents, but also to tourists.
How about some of the big challenges facing the city of North Myrtle Beach when you sit back and think about, obviously a lot of those are not, maybe not taking advantage of some of the great conditions that are currently in place would be a rough thing, but some other challenges that are typical that you're looking at and that you and City Council talk about, or you and your department heads perceive as real challenges facing?
Well, you know, in reality, a lot of the challenges that we are concerned about, if you do basically a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, you know, what we view are threats are many things that we cannot control. I mean, for instance, you know, gas at $4 or $5 a gallon
Right.
obviously impacts, you know, tourism significantly. You know, obviously, you know, major hurricanes, things like that.
Right.
And, you know, then you always have to be concerned nowadays, you know, terrorism on a national scale can, you know, dramatically affect the economy.
Right.
So, you know, I worry a lot about or monitor things a lot of things
Right.
that we really can't control, but are on our radar screen.
Yes, very definitely. In dealing with City Council, for viewers who may not understand how the city administrator works, how does that exactly, the city manager, excuse
Right,
me.
right.
Just
Okay,
give a,
a thumbnail sketch.
Yeah,
I
please.
work for 7 elected officials,
Okay.
which are elected for 4-year terms that are staggered. So
Okay.
one election there'll be 3, next election there'll be 4.
Okay.
The elected officials set policy. It's then the city manager's job to institute that policy.
Right.
City managers, in the city manager form of government, you know, I'm in charge of hiring and firing, monitoring the financial situation, those sort of things.
Right. So
The
much
day-to-day operations of the city.
much like Tom Leith in the city of Myrtle Beach or John Weaver, the county administrator for Horry County.
Exactly. And of course, you know, we gear up in the summer. I mean,
Right.
we're in the process right now of basically hiring about 350 additional people.
No, for the city.
Yes. I
Right.
mean, when you stop and think about it, you know, lifeguards. We have a lot of concessions on the beach, whether it be tents, umbrellas, Italian ice, the hippo slide, concession stands, etc. And of course, we need more people in the summer for, you know, cleaning restrooms, litter pickup. So we're in the process of adding a lot of people, which a lot of repeat people, you know, teachers, for instance, maybe looking for summer jobs that have been
Right.
with us for many years. A lot of college students return.
Sure.
Because, you know, the tips are pretty good on Italian ice sales. So we have a lot of ladies and gentlemen that return to us during their college career year after year it's a pretty good summer job.
That's tremendous, Mike. And it's lifeguarding, so here is handled by, I know we talked about the beach tents and obviously you talked about the just everything out there. That is all handled by the city of North Myrtle Beach. It's not private.
No,
companies.
that is a city operation, and incidentally, another little known fact, my first paying job was a lifeguard for a city.
Is that right? Not in the Palmetto State, but for a city. Yes, yes.
No.
That is fascinating. Speaking of little known facts, are there any other little known facts about you, Mike?
None that I'm willing to reveal.
We need to call your bride about that and find out what that must be. There's got to be something out there. But
Well, this is a little known fact. My wife and I knew each other for 6 weeks before we got married.
oh, come on! Before you actually got married.
Before we got married.
Oh no!
Yes, that is very true.
Wow!
And this year we will have been married for 37 years.
Congratulations, Mike!
So-
Wow. Now is that and she is put up with a lot, or is that just y'all are a match made in heaven?
Well, we're a match made in heaven, but what that also says is, and I believe my elected officials will tell you this, I can make a decision,
Yes.
so, and we move forward.
And that's very important to hear. You know, so oftentimes it is, don't worry about making a right decision, just make a decision and then make it right. And so I'm sure you go through the idea of really making a right decision, though. You want
Well, you could look it up. It's actually the Glick model. I mean, basically, by training, what you do as an engineer and with a master's in business, what is the problem? What are the potential solutions to the problems? What are the pros and cons of each one of those alternatives?
Right.
And then you make a decision.
Yes, son of a gun. Let's say you hadn't become city manager at the city of North Myrtle Beach, or even previous city manager positions getting into public administration. What do you think you would have done, Mike?
I guess I would probably still be an engineer.
Is that right? Yeah,
Somewhere.
you would have stuck that out and continue to follow that.
Right, right. I would probably be. I mean, my guess is I would probably be, you know, the CEO of an engineering outfit somewhere. Hopefully, a large one.
Yes, yes. I'm sure it. Could have been just that. You know, and as you think about North Myrtle Beach and the experiences for you now, in almost a year in your role as city manager, traveling up and down, is it as large as you thought? Is it much larger than you thought? Are there nooks and crannies of North Myrtle that you see and think, my Lord, I've never seen this before. This is tremendous.
No, actually, I pretty well did my homework.
Right.
I mean, tourism is king. You know, the Grand Strand, it's you know, 14 million visitors a year. It's a $6.5 billion operation.
Right.
And you know, that is our niche. And you know, what we want to do is expand upon that niche. By building, you know, sports tourism facilities,
Right.
and you know, having other opportunities available for people to have a great vacation here. We're aggressively pursuing economic development, you know, with some large retail organizations that we're meeting with to basically grow the economy of North Myrtle Beach.
Great way to wrap. Mike, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
It was a pleasure.
That's tremendous. Sorry, we've run out of time.
That's fine.
Stay tuned to a little more All-American People with Mike Mahaney, city manager here in the city of North Myrtle Beach, coming up next. It's been months since I asked that question, what's one thing few people know about you? How about that answer from Mike? 6 weeks. To think he met his now bride of 37 years one day, and then 6 weeks later, he said to the day they were married. What an exciting thing. I bet a lot of folks here in North Myrtle Beach City Hall didn't know that. Their city manager. I love it. nmb.us. If you got questions, the website's got a lot of tremendous information, page after page, links to a multitude of places. Take the time to go online, www.nmb.us, or pick up the phone, 843-280-5612. You'll get the number of Pat Dowling. That's his number. Any questions you've got about the city, he's the one to ask. Mike Mahaney, thanks so much for being with us.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.